Dark.
Timothy Crutch,
Here.
Sean Fitzpatrick,
Here.
Dennis Siebert,
I'm here.
John Gordon,
Here.
Robert Birch,
Here.
Barry Sarkisian,
Robert?
Barry Sarkisian here. Alfred DePola,
Alfred, you can come up. I know.
Selena. Approval of minutes, this held January 23rd.
Motion.
Motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're in the wrong place.
Can't they
They're
do
keeping you
somebody
on your
else
toes.
tonight?
I was just grabbing a seat, that's all.
Your comments from the public? Reports from members of the board? Selena, you have any comments?
I do not. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you to our new members.
Yes, welcome, and good to see you all again, Selena. It's been a while. Of course. We're back in fashion. See how long it lasts.
Mr. Press, would you like to say anything?
Thanks for the opportunity to.
I'm just happy to be back.
Okay, Mr. Siebert.
What I've seen within the community has been pleasing. Parks look good and people are happy. Makes me happy.
Great. Okay, Mr. Warden?
Nothing for me.
No comment, huh? Robert?
Yeah, first meeting, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, welcome.
Can I have your attention just for a second? When you talk, I need you to hit your mic on so we can get the record. Don't let anybody else the mic.
Get that green light
Turn
goes
back
on.
off first time.
Okay. Alfred?
I just want to say thanks for the opportunity to be part of the committee. Appreciate it.
Welcome. And we got Selena. Okay. Lou, did you want to take over the,
Yeah, before I go on to the first item, I want to welcome our new members. Hopefully, we can have our meetings every 2 months the way we're supposed to. It's been hard to get a quorum, so, to not meet since last January is kind of difficult. And for the importance of this board, just to let you know that when we apply for grants, and we are constantly applying for state and federal grants, it's on a point basis, and it's very, very competitive. And every point we can get, we actually need. And one of the categories is having public meetings, having a Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting to discuss grants that are coming up. So it's very important that you attend our meetings, okay? But again, I want to welcome our new members, and hopefully you'll give us a lot of input, because that's what we're looking for, okay? So the first item I want to discuss is we've got 2 grants right now that is up in Tallahassee. They're FERDAP grants, which is one for Camellia Park. Camellia Park is the oldest park in the village. And what we're doing is we're looking to upgrade the lighting on the tennis courts. We just resurfaced them this past year, but now we're looking to add LED lighting, which is a lot more energy efficient. Those lights that are up there are easily 20 years old. And we're also going to replace the existing restroom and the tennis office. That building also has been there, well, since the park was built. We haven't done anything to that. So that's one grant for a couple $100,000. And we have another grant for Bob Marcello Baseball Complex. And with that, we just put in new lights on fields 2 and 3. And those new lights also went from incandescent to LED lights. And if you ride by there at night and you see those lights on compared to the other ball fields, it's like day and night. And again, they're more energy efficient. So we're going to be doing those 2 fields, the batting cages, and the basketball court. We're going to put in all LED lights. That, again, we have a grant in for, they're $400,000 grants, but they're matching grants. We put in 200, they'll match it with 200. So that's going to help us a great deal. Even though the village is fiscally very, very well off, again, to get this help, and that's getting the most for our dollar, and it helps the residents, and it helps us keep those taxes down, because if we have to take everything out of pocket, it gets pretty costly. So, on an average, we probably get $1 million to $1.5 million in grants annually, just for the parks. So we want to continue that. So those are the 2 grants that we have coming up. And again, it's just by bringing it up here, and if you have any comments or any questions, feel free to ask or make any comments.
So the tennis office, is that a complete tear down of the building or a renovation of that building?
Well, there isn't much renovation we can do.
Okay. So it's a tear down.
It's pretty much a tear down and rebuild. We want to make it so that when you go into the tennis court, you have to go through a gate to get in. Okay. So this way our tennis instructor has more control on what's happening, and that's one thing that we want to try to accomplish.
Are they gonna put pickleball courts in there too?
And Camellia, no, that's not in the plan now. But when we talk about some of the other capital improvements, I'll bring that up. Okay.
So do you have an idea of what the total cost of the renovation of the tennis building?
The tennis lights and the building itself, we had budgeted $500,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have a grant for 200 for it?
Right.
Okay.
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 Thank you, sir.
Program updates?
Senior
Shakira.
activities.
Yes, Shakira Thomas is our Senior Activities Program Supervisor. It's up to you, kid.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shakira Thomas. So last year we had a really great year. It was my full year running the senior program. At any given time during the year, we have 15 to about 25 senior citizens programs going on at the same time. I'm going to go down the list. For exercising, we have chair yoga, chair yoga, matter of balance, silver sneakers. For fun stuff, we've got oil and acrylic, crocheting, a knitting club, book club, and a writers club. We also have a multiple sclerosis group that meets socially on Saturdays. We have a virtual museum tour. I also have my 2 big programs is the Young at Heart. Last year we had 205 signed up members. This year we are at max and already have people on the waiting list. And the max is 275. I also have a daily congregate meal program that I run with the county. We have about 170 people show up. On any given day, we have between 30 to 60 people that we're feeding every day in the recreation center. I also have some really great sponsors. On any given day, almost every day, I get donations from BJ's, Publix, and Panera. I also am working with the Agency for the Aging and the Pearl May Foundation, to also get food delivered for the seniors. We also had some extracurricular parties, to name a bunch: the Halloween party, ugly sweater party, Mother's Day party, St. Patty's, Easter egg hunt. We had a fantastic prom. It was well received by the community, and it was the first one we had. We also had an end of summer party, ice cream social, and from January to May, we had lunch and learns that was sponsored from different organizations within the community. This year, we plan on having a wonderful year as well, and we've got quite a few trips already planned. I've shared with Sandy and the Young at Heart group, and I'm also working to really develop the senior activities program. And that's
Doing
all
a
I
great job, kid.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Athletics Recreation Center Program, Brandon Pendergrass.
So I'll stay over here. So athletically, at the Recreation Center, right now we're registering for our youth basketball league, and we've continued to grow that league. We're up to over 200 participants across 4 age groups. We go from kindergarten up until 8th grade, so it's 5 to 14. We have our youth volleyball, which starts a little older. Volleyball is 10 to 14. And then we have our adult basketball league, which we run on Sunday afternoons at the Recreation Center. And that has steadily picked up as well. We have a good showing with that. Some of our smaller programs that we run throughout the week, we have Amazing Athletes, which is a youth class for athletics that teaches them different sports, and it'll go through what you would do, kind of how you would play, keeping the kids active, and it starts from 18 months to 2.5 years old. We have our Super Soccer Stars, which is a branch off of that program, which is a youth soccer class, teaches soccer and the techniques of it. Our yoga class is continuing to grow. Monday nights at 6 p.m., Wednesday mornings at 9:45 a.m. Our total body conditioning runs 3 times a week. And then we also have our Vivian Taylor music program, which is a piano and vocal class. Not new, but we've had it previously that is coming back, is our Little Sluggers youth baseball class that we run inside the Recreation Center. And so inside that's really what we're doing athletically. But we also have our primary provider groups, youth soccer, football, and baseball, softball. Right now, all 3 of those are running. Our travel basketball, which is also a primary provider, they're in their off season right now, which is their training season, and they typically start their program in the spring as far as travel games. But all 3 of those programs are in the swing of their fall seasons now. They all have good numbers, and they're all continuing to grow. So it's good to see, and that's our athletics. Any questions from anybody?
You want to
Thank you,
bring up
Brandon.
what we got coming up in October?
Yeah, is there stuff that we could register for?
Yes.
You're looking
So
for-
right now, what to register for? We have our youth basketball, which we can't register for right now, and then we also have our Dolphins bus trip. We're going October 8th to the Dolphins Giants game, 1 p.m. At the Hard Rock Stadium. So we're still taking registrations. We still have tickets left for those. Tickets are $215. It includes your ticket, admission, bus, and lunch, and tailgating at the park. So that one we're still open. So if anybody wants to register, have a bus trip, ride down to the Dolphins game. We are winning now, as you can see from last week. So you want to see a winner, come to the Rec, buy your ticket. And then all of our other classes are yoga, total body conditioning, karate, Super Soccer Stars, Amazing Athletes. All of those programs, they're all monthly programs. They either run on a monthly or a 6-week cycle. And so all of those right now are running through the fall. If you're interested, or if anybody's interested in any of those, you can stop by the Recreation Center and register, get more information. And they're there. They're here for you.
Just so everybody understands, not just here, but the general public, these programs can't run without volunteers. Okay? We need volunteers all the time for coaching, or whether it's Young at Heart. We look for volunteers for our special events that we put on. Sometimes we have organizations that come forward, businesses that come forward with their staff. But, again, these programs can only be successful with the public's input. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
Cultural Center Programs, the Event and Facility Manager, Steve Pointer.
How's everyone doing?
Hey.
All right, so a couple things we have coming up. Starting October 14th is going to be the Green Market's going to start back up. It'll run every Saturday right here from 9 to 1, and that'll run through April. They do it every Saturday except for Christmas and New Year's. So they'll be here every Saturday right around on this street right here. We have the Veterans Day program coming up on November 11th at the Cultural Center. Breakfast is going to be served at 9 a.m. and then the program will start at 10 a.m. for that, and that's free to anyone taking RSVPs right now. The Daddy-Daughter Dance will be in February. It's going to be a Saturday night in February, and we'll have more info on that later. Still working all the kinks out with that one on pricing and everything like that. Right now, we're very busy at the Cultural Center. We have several weekly rentals between the community band. We have 2 churches every Sunday that rent out the entire facility. We have AA classes on Tuesday, Boy Scouts on Tuesday. We have a Bible study on Wednesday night, and that's every single week. So we have those recurring rentals. We also have others like HOAs. We have a CPR class that's going to be starting in January. That's renting. That'll be like pretty much every other Friday morning, as well as other like business meetings and stuff like that that are recurring rentals, like quarterly and stuff like that. So very booked. For instance, in the Grand Ballroom, we have no available Saturdays until June. So it's a very in demand facility. Right now we have nothing Friday and Saturdays or Sundays until January. So we're completely booked out on the weekends. So like I said, it's very high in demand. It's a wonderful facility. So does anybody have any questions?
Yes, how do we solicit for the Green Market? Like, is there plans to expand it, make it bigger or whatever?
No, not to make it bigger. We pretty much hear this facility. There's still spots that they have open every Saturday. So there's still probably another, 20, 30 on any given Saturday to where they can still have more before, expanding like to different facilities or something like that. So there's still plenty of space. They average anywhere from like 70 to 90 vendors. And I think they have enough space for up to like 120. So,
Okay. Is there a plan to reach out and get more there? Or?
I mean, we put in advertisements in the paper. We have it online. We do social media advertising. So we do a lot of advertising. So,
Okay.
yeah. And as well as they have their own client base that they send it out to and stuff. So,
Great.
anything else? No? All right. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, Commons Park Programs, Events and Facility Manager, Silvio Pierluigi.
And if I may, so you understand, there's 2 events and facility managers, okay? You got one that runs the Cultural Center across the street, and then Silvio runs everything at
Didn't I
Commons
say
Park.
Commons Park?
Commons Park.
Did I not say Commons
You did.
Park?
Yeah, you
Oh,
did, you did.
okay.
I'm just pointing out that there's 2 positions.
Okay,
Good evening, everyone. So I'm just gonna go through all the programs that we have coming up at Commons Park. The first thing we have coming up October 6th and 7th is our Rock and Fall event. October 6th is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then we'll have 2 bands playing, which will be Eagles tribute at 6 p.m. and then we'll have Kiss tribute at 8:15. October 7th will be the large fall festival where it's from 1 to 9. We'll have Fun Zone. We'll have corn maze, costume contest, pet costume contest. We'll have pumpkin carving contest, a pumpkin patch, and then we'll also have Joe Noto who will be playing at 5 p.m. And then we'll have a Bob Seagram tribute at 7 p.m. also. October 6th will also be the opening day of the haunted house. It's open from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. and then it'll be open every Friday and Saturday in October from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. and it's right in front of the park. So as soon as you come into the park on Point Siena, it'll be to your left and you'll see the haunted house and it'll be open for the whole month of October from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then followed by that, we'll continue our concerts. We have a series of concerts that we have every first and third Friday of the month. October 20th would be British Rock Invasion, which is a foreigner tribute. Then we'll have November 3rd, a Pat Benatar tribute. November 12th, we'll have a Linkin Park tribute. December 1st, we'll have a Southern Blood band, which is a classic rock band. Then we'll have 30 Hertz, which is another classic rock band, who will play on December 15th. For our movie series, on November 18th, we'll be playing Encanto. And then on December 16th, we'll be playing The Bad Guys. Then we'll roll right into our Winterfest event, which is December 2nd. It's from 1 to 9 p.m. with the tree lighting being at 6:15. And then the photos with Santa would be right after that, which will be 6:30. So we'll have that going on. And then for people who are not able to get pictures with Santa during the tree lighting, we also have another event with photos with Santa where we have at Commons Park on December 9th and 16th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. People can come and get photos with Santa on that date. As far as the rentals, just as the Cultural Center, we're pretty much booked up to January. Every Saturday is booked up, so we don't have anything until January where you can start booking up. But the longer you wait, the more our buildings fill up. So we're doing pretty good in that, as far as the rentals and reservations go for the sporting center. I mean, we're pretty busy. We have people that come in and out. They use the facility, and everybody loves the park. So we're doing pretty well at Commons Park. Any questions?
I have one, only because I'm hearing about it a lot, and I don't know what about it. Apparently 2 new pavilions going in Commons,
Yes.
and I've had a lot of people asking me what they're for.
Oh,
Because they're pretty big, so.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be like the building. So it's gonna be a rental pavilion. It's a 3,000 square foot pavilion, 2 of them. So you'll be able to rent them for the whole day, but you'll just have to supply tables and chairs as far as when you rent it. So for upstairs in the sporting center, we supply tables and chairs, but the 2 outside on the Great Lawn, you'll have to supply your own tables and chairs. And I'm not sure the fee is already solidified.
Yeah, you got the 2 pavilions going up, one on either side of the amphitheater, and it is exactly the same size as the banquet hall upstairs. It'll seat anywhere from 125 to 150 people. The reason we decided to build these pavilions was we had a lot of requests of companies wanting to come in, having a company picnic, family reunions. We didn't have any one pavilion that we can put folks unless they went inside. So we thought this would be perfect. Somebody wants to have an outside wedding, they can do it. So we can have a wedding upstairs. We can have a wedding in one of the pavilions. During the events that we have, the major events, we can actually use one of the pavilions. You know, those are the only events that we actually have alcohol sales. We can use it as an area for alcohol and contain it. We will have picnic tables that will be out there on a regular basis. But if somebody wants to have a wedding and they don't want to have picnic tables, then they will have to rent tables and chairs from another source. We will remove those picnic tables. There will be power there. There'll be 2 barbecue grills that can be used. So you can actually have a couple separate parties in each one, on separate ends of the pavilions. But it's been talked about by the public for a while now, and we anticipate that they'll be ready for the Christmas tree light up in December. But we were hoping for Rock and Fall, but it's not going to happen. But they are going to be, they will be used, and we are looking at renting it at $500 for a day. You rent it for the day. You don't rent it, for 2 hours or 3 hours. You have it for the day. You want to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and set up what you want to set up. You got all day to do it. And if you go on our website, it's listed in there under the fees and charges, and you'll see that all of our pavilions, the cultural center, the sporting center, we have a package that you can rent for the entire day, because what happens is, we've had like 3-hour increments, and then we made it 4-hour increments. Well, it has to include you setting up, bringing in your caterer, and then cleaning up. So that's why we made it so that it's available. You got it all day long. You can decorate. You don't have to rush and get it done in 4 hours. You got all day to do it. And that's what we understand is happening. People are coming in. They want the whole day. So it makes it easier on them, and it also makes it easier on our staff.
Oh, you finished? Go ahead.
Not finished. I have one more question. For the Winter Fest,
Yeah.
I know that traffic is always a nightmare. Is there going to be any extra transportation available for people at park at remote locations and going in?
Here's the issue is this: when people park off-site, okay, we can't get them in transportation because we get caught up in the same traffic. Now, we can get folks from the front parking lot to the Great Lawn, okay, because we actually went out and purchased a couple, I guess they're
Passenger golf
limo
carts.
type golf carts, so that we can pick people up and bring them to the Great Lawn, and they'll be running all through the event to pick people up and bring them back. But again, like you say, there are so many people.
I think it's our most attended yearly function at that park, isn't it?
Well, that's
It's the 4th of July.
It's tough. The 4th of July is the tough one. And again, it's people have gotten used to it. People are riding their bikes. People are walking because they know the issue. We have entertainment that runs, once the fireworks go off, everybody's rushing for the exit line. So we have the bands playing extra to keep people there, and more people are staying. Half hour, 45 minutes, park is cleared out. I mean, it's really works out pretty well.
Because experiences come into play at
Exactly.
this point.
It's these guys, staff knows what they're doing now.
Are you going to have something to shut off those 2 large pavilions? Because I've been there enough times that if there's an empty pavilion, people just walk into it.
They do. If people want it for the day, they're going to have to rent it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
2 questions. Along the lines of our larger events, is it possible to get more portable garbage cans out there? I know we have the cardboard ones, but what I've noticed is, especially the larger ones, the 4th of July, the tree lighting, the garbage does fill up. So if we can add that just to have extra in
Yeah,
there.
that's something we can do.
Thank you. And then the other thing is the restaurant on the 3rd floor of the sporting complex. They did renew their lease or their set hours that they have, or is it only during events?
So they're open right now, Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay.
So 11 11 to 5, Wednesday through Sunday. You're welcome.
And they just renewed their lease.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Silvio. Mr. Recchio.
Yeah, on top of that, what Sylvia was saying about Rock and Fall Fest, you know, at first it was, what was it? Rocktoberfest. Everybody says, oh, we got to have an Oktoberfest. Well, then we thought, you know, we had it the last weekend of October when everybody has Oktoberfest. So we moved ours to the first weekend of October. And now, so we renamed it Rocktoberfest or Rock and Fall Fest, so that Friday night, it's kind of rock and roll bands, more for the adults. I mean, there are going to be kids' rides and like that, but it's mainly for the adults on Friday night. And then Saturday, everything is transformed over to the kids, all the decorations and everything in the kids' games. So anyway, that's how we came out to the Rock and Fall Fest. And again, running it the first weekend of October, there really isn't anybody else that is doing that. And that haunted house that he was talking about, it was actually voted one of the top haunted houses in South Florida. I mean, it's gotten very popular. And again, that'll be Friday and Saturday nights. I believe the fee is $10 to get in. And I can tell you, when they were setting up last year, I went through it with one of my staff, and he got so scared he jumped. I mean, he pretty much jumped up on my back. I mean, it was funny, but it's a great event. You'll enjoy it. Okay, next, the capital projects. Eva passed out this capital project program. And basically, we look out up to 5 years on projects. So they're planned out. And during the 5 years, a project may be moved up. You know, we may have something that is tentatively scheduled for 2027, and all of a sudden it becomes more of a priority, maybe on demand, things that we can, where we have time now to move something up. It may be moved up to, 2025, okay, or something may replace each other, but that's, it all goes to council. This way we have a plan. Council has a plan, staff has a plan of what we want to do. So as you go through this, and I'm not going to go through every one of them, you got a list of accounts that different things come out of. Recreation facilities, beautification, the American Rescue Plan, which is something that's come up in the past couple of years since COVID, where we got money from the federal government, and it has to be for something major, something that is going to last a minimum of 5 years. So when you look at the listing of projects, you'll see they're pretty good sized projects, pretty good sized projects. We got, Village Hall, we got the recreation center, things like that is what we're looking for. And again, as you go through each one of these accounts, anything that you see preceded with the letters PR is Parks and Recreation. Those are the projects that affect this department. If we go to the American Rescue Plan, again, you'll see on there the Camellia Park drainage improvement. If you've been to Camellia Park, the parking lot that is on Camellia Drive, which is to the north of the tennis courts. And you got the daycare center that is to the east. When it rains, like right now, I guarantee you'll go down there, it's flooded. And that also backs up and it floods into the building. The tennis pro's office fills up with water. That's why we're doing this drainage in that building. It's scheduled for a capital project. The corporate pavilions are also coming out of the American Rescue Plan. And there you see that's just about $1 million for the two of them. If you continue on the impact fees, it's 301. Impact fees are projects that need to be done because it could be the influx of people into the community. There's an impact on the community. That's how we build some of our parks. We add amenities to our parks. These are all, improvements to roads. It's because of the impact of the population. Camellia Park office and the bathrooms. The usage has gotten to be greater. We put in the 2 basketball courts. We've got the bocce ball courts. You got the 6 tennis courts. You got the softball field. You got the racquetball courts. That park is getting a lot more usage. So, to make these improvements again will come out of the impact fees. And again, anything with a PR in front of it. You look at the next 2 digits, that's the year that we're planning on doing that project. Again, if you look under the same impact fee, if you turn to the next page, you go down to PR 2102, Crestwood North Park. It was scheduled to begin. When we say begin, we're putting it out for bid and getting a contractor on board. Crestwood Park North is a new park that's going adjacent to Bellicera. Or if you're looking at H.L. Johnson, it's to the west of H.L. Johnson, just on the other side of the M1 canal. There's a 5-acre parcel that the developer is required to set aside for parks to the village for them developing. Our policy is 1,000 acres. Where's it? 1,000 acres per. Yeah, for every 1,000 acres. Every 1,000 people, they have to set aside an acre of property. So this is what they're doing. They're giving us the property, or they can give back the funds equal to that. You'll also see pickleball courts. I forgot who brought that up, but this year we're putting 2 pickleball courts out in Counterpoint at Home Place Park. We have 2 that we just built over in Preservation Park. We converted our skate park into 4 racquetball courts. We're putting 2 pickleball courts also up in this new Crestwood Park, which will be starting shortly. And then the 2 that will go into Counterpoint. It's become very, very popular. Very popular. Again, the recreation center is being expanded. That's another major project. $10 million is conservative. The rec center, what we're doing is we're adding on a wing. If you're familiar with the building, when you walk in, there's a wing to the north that right now is used for early childhood education. And then we have the gymnasium and the other classrooms. Well, on the north side, or the south side of the building, we're gonna pretty much duplicate what we have on the north. We're adding a wing of more classrooms, more meeting rooms, another kitchen area. Right now, during the summer, because we have summer camp that takes place in the rec center, we have to take our programs that were there, like our senior programs, and move them to the cultural center for the summer. Once we have this expansion done, we won't have to do that. We'll be able to have those programs in that new wing and not interfere with the summer day camp. So that's going to be huge. A second gymnasium. Right now, we have an interlocal agreement with Palm Beach County Schools that we trade back and forth on the usage of facilities. 90% of the time, they're using our facilities. But like during our basketball season, we have one gym, but we have 40 teams?
Yeah.
40 basketball teams, trying to get them in all during the week. So we use Crestwood's gymnasium for our games. Once a second gym is built, we won't have to use Crestwood's gym, and we'll be able to run activities simultaneously in each of the facilities. We are hoping, depending how things go, to put in like an upstairs walking trail of the gym. So people want to go in, there can be a basketball game or volleyball games going on in the gym floor, and you can go upstairs, and there'll be an elevator for access for those who need it, and you can walk your laps or run your laps, whichever. We think that's going to be very unique and very, very popular. Again, going through all this, PWs are Public Works, EN is Engineering, PR is Parks and Rec. Splash pad at Veterans Park will be done by the spring. That's been down for a while. And then other capital improvements in the future, you'll see, we're adding playground equipment to various playgrounds. We are replacing the safety surface on the west playground at Commons Park. That had a 10-year warranty. The 10 years is up, and it needs to be replaced. And it's an artificial grass surface, and the new artificial turf comes with a 15-year warranty. So we're going to do one of the playgrounds, and then on the other playground, we decided to wait because we're going to add more equipment so it's accessible to all, regardless of your abilities, and that will enhance what we already have. And at that time, we'll put the new surface in. The playground at Veterans Park, we're putting a aluminum fence around with one entrance, with one exit, away from the road. If you've been by there where the playground is, we've got so many openings. They're so close to the road, we're going to fence that in. And there'll be one way in and one way out, so parents can keep track of their kids. They won't get in one way and not knowing they escape out another gate. That is pretty much it. Bobby Joe Lauder, I should say Bobby Joe Lauder, which is right behind Commons Park. We are adding a shade structure over the playground. Not only to help to shade the kids from the sun, but it also protects the equipment. It'll add 5 years to the equipment because the ultraviolet rays and everything are just destroying these playgrounds. So we are looking to put shade structures over all of our playgrounds. I think that's pretty much it. Future, we've been looking at we're looking at replacing the playgrounds in Pippin Park, which is in Counterpoint, and Moonlight Park, which is also in Counterpoint. We review each one of these areas of playscapes. We try to look at them every 10 to 12 years to see how they're holding up. And those are the next two that are in need for replacement, and keep that up. But I think things are in good shape. They really are. I think it's a matter of just keeping up the maintenance now. Once Crestwood comes online, we have one more park to build after that, and that's in the new Tuttle property off of Southern Boulevard. I was actually over there this past week with Brian, the owner, and we looked. We got about 11 acres over there, and we're just looking at what needs to be done. And that again, that'll be our 26th park. So we'll have 26 parks in Royal Pond. Okay. I think that's about it, but I'll take any questions. I know I went through a lot, but that's why we had these printed out, so you can absorb it. If you got questions, next meeting. Unfortunately or fortunately, whatever the case may be, this will be my last rec advisory meeting after 30 years. And
What are you gonna do with yourself?
my wife's got a list.
A to-do list?
It's been a pleasure. Again, new members, get involved. Get involved. And it's a good community.
We're gonna miss you.
Right, we are gonna miss you.
I'll be around. I'll be around. And
Nobody to pick on.
no,
Expect to be coaching somewhere, anywhere.
I'll be around. And I want to thank Selena personally, our council liaison. She's been a tremendous help, not only on council, but here as a liaison with this board. And appreciate it, Selena.
It's my
Really do.
pleasure. Thanks for making it easy.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
do have 2 questions, Madam Chair. I don't know if anybody else had any questions.
That's a statement of two.
Go.
It's just an appreciation. I've worked with you and been around you for a couple decades now, I guess. It just seems like it's such a long time. And you have always put your heart and dedication into this village, and I think I speak for anybody in this village that we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Probably the least controversial person in the entire village.
Yeah, there's people that disagree with you there.
You're not doing it right.
Employees don't count.
Thank you.
I did have 2 questions, though. One, we talked about this in the past, but doing artificial turf on cats. Do we move anywhere on that, or are we still staying?
I'm putting a study, and I'm hoping to have it done before I leave. There's pros and cons, really. And fortunately or unfortunately, if you've read the sports pages and everything, ever since Aaron Rodgers got hurt, they're blaming the turf. They're saying the turf is not good for knees. But our issue is the downtime. Okay, I mean, we literally, we have to shut the fields down 8, 12 weeks out of the year. And we have such a demand, it's a constant battle, you know, when we shut them down because they need a rest. And because we have such an overuse of our facilities, instead of just maintaining it or giving it a rest, we have to resod constantly because we're almost forced to, you know, maybe shut them down for 3 or 4 weeks, but that doesn't do it. You got to have 3 months. You know, you got to shut it down. That's our issue. Because of the use, it would be advantageous. And over the long run, it would save a lot of grief for these user groups, a lot of grief for the staff. You know, and when we tell these groups to say, look, we gotta shut these down. We just shut down a field over at Seminole Palms when we normally would be opening that now. We had to shut it down. It was unsafe. We just could not keep it open. So we're doubling up on another field. So that's the big issue.
Lou, if I can, it's in your capital improvement list, but it says 2028.
Right.
So,
It's in there.
but it's not anytime sooner than 2028.
I won't say that.
That's the question.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. Again, there's pros and cons, and there's all kinds of studies, and the heat factor, and you still
So hot to play on.
you still got to water it, and the kids got to go out and buy different cleats now, and now they got to have 2 sets, and it's just you know, you still have to get out there a couple times a year. It's got to be broomed. Because they're small rubber particles underneath, and every time you change direction, those particles shift. So now you got to dip. So it's just like regular turf. So now you got to get out there, you know, a couple, 2, 3 times a year with like a roller, a broom, and level it all out again. And we've already got prices on what they would cost, and to bring somebody in who does this for a living. But overall maintenance, I mean, for what it cost us to resod one field, $100,000. One field, and that's just ripping out what we have and put down side. That's it. It's not doing a new base or anything like that. So. And we've got 8 fields. So if we were to do them all in 1 year, there's $800,000. And you may have to do it again in 2 to 3 years. With the turf, artificial turf, you do it one time. I had gotten a price for all 4 fields was going to be $2.4 million, which was a deal. Because right now you're looking $800,000 per field. So again, there's improvements all the time. There's more companies coming out with it all the time. But hopefully, in the next year, I think a commitment could be made one way or another.
Somebody is letting me jump in for a second, so I had a relevant question here. Has anybody actually studied, because most artificial turf fields that we're familiar with, they're used once every 2 weeks. We're talking stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
So our fields are in use pretty much all year round. I remember
7 days a week.
I remember at Seminole, especially because they practice those penalty kicks, the soccer teams, they dig pretty much a ditch at each end. So the safety of an artificial turf versus the safety of all of the damage done to the fields, and the kids, I know we constantly had problems with the kids getting hurt just because of the field issues. Good point. You know, is one, I mean, safer than the other? Has a study been done on that type of comparison on fields that are used
all
pretty much
depends on-
six to
It
7
all
days a week?
depends on, again, the usage.
I specified that fields in use 6 to 7 days a week.
I mean, it's 7 days a week, and I would say out of easy 45 to 48 weeks a year. And we struggle to shut them down for a
So
short
it would
period.
seem to me that it's more beneficial and likely safer in the overall scheme of things,
More cost effective.
and certainly more cost
Over
effective.
the long haul, it's cost effective.
So
Yeah, but-
I just wanted to bring it up because it seemed like it's a lot safer because I've done tackle football, soccer, and flag football for years out there with the kids.
Mhm.
So I saw the Cats fields, I saw Common, just all of them.
Yeah.
So I think the artificial field's the way to go. Thank you, Selena, for giving time.
The follow-up is that the surtax that we pay, the extra 1% sales tax that voters voted in, it was for a maximum of 10 years. We are the oversight of what the village gets for that. Do you have an idea of how, I think there was some talk that it might sunset after 8 years because they've reached the dollar threshold. Do you have an idea?
We've heard that it's a possibility. We haven't heard anything definite. So, I'm hopeful that we'll have something by the time we get into the strategic planning in the spring.
So you're thinking then by 2024, it'll be the last, you think next year might be the last
Might be
time
the
we get
last.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Do we have any comments from the board?
No, ma'am.
I would like to say I'm going to miss you.
Thank you.
When is your last day?
October 25th.
25th?
It was October 3rd. 3rd.
They don't
Then
want
it
you
was,
to go.
then it was the 10th. Now it's the 25th.
So it's fluid, so the 25th really isn't your last day. Maybe your next time. You're just waiting for that call. Hey, can you give us another 2 weeks?
The 25th is it.
Good for you, Lou.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Retirement party? Me? No.
Yes, it's probably the most attended
Or the least.
Now it's all the kids grew up. Joe Noto
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of kids come in now with their kids.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Lou. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, really.
1990 you started?
93.
93.
It was Wellington before that. Indian Trail. No, Acme Improvement District.
Went fast, huh?
It did, but again, people say, how come you're still working? It's always been, I enjoy working here. I really did. The village has always given me support. The council over the years, we've always had support, and I will tell you, the council, and this isn't because Selena's here, but the council is pro-recreation. We have never had to really battle for what we felt was needed for the community. And we show the need, they see it.
You're going to be hard to replace.
Nah.
You will be. You're hard to replace.
Whoever comes on board will take it to the next step. I'm confident of that.
Okay, at this time, anything else? We can, our next meeting is,
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I did want to add, I left something out of my report
Okay.
initially, so I just wanted to jump in before we ended it. 2 programs were our youth dance program that is from ages 3 to 15, and right now we're taking registrations for that as well. And as Lou mentioned, in our back wing of the rec center, our early childhood adventures, which does our preschool and VPK program from ages 3 to 5, which is a continually growing program, but they are active right now, and they'll begin taking registrations for their spring semester coming up
it's
soon.
going to be huge.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
Yeah, it's big, but I wanted to jump in and mention that before we adjourn.
Thank you. we did in the beginning.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I think with the next meeting is gonna be November. Yeah, November. Okay.
27th.
Right.
I think it's the 27th.
Oh, after
The
Thanksgiving.
fourth Monday of the month. I think it's the
Okay,
27th,
so everybody
right
have a
after
good Thanksgiving. God, it goes fast. It was nice to see you all. I make a motion that we adjourn
Motion.
the meeting.
Seconded.
Okay,
All in favor?
thank you. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everybody.
You too. Stay safe.